like I've only live streamed a few times, but every time I try to do it horizontally so I can have somebody else in the video or have it show up fully on your TV or whatever, it doesn't seem to work for me, but it seems like it may be working tonight. I'm logging into Sarah's phone so I can read people's questions. There's one person there.
Hello.
No, you can see if you can get it up on
I
your
gotta,
phone.
I gotta get.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Michelle, the horizontal seems to be working today.
Let's see.
Hey, Sugar Bear. These glasses, you know, it's rough when you turn 50 something. You have to,
You know.
it's hard to see.
I don't see it up yet. Maybe I should go out and go back in.
Trying to get it up so I can see your questions.
Oh, here we go. Got it.
Okay.
It's so weird.
I'm so close. I'm so close. I've got my laptop behind
There
my
you go.
phone.
There you go.
All right, okay.
There you go. I got it.
I've got my laptop behind
There
my
you go.
phone.
There you go.
All right,
There
okay.
you go.
I've got my laptop behind I'm gonna have to shut that because it's gonna be echoing. Hey, Janine, James, Life in the Sticks, Becky and Kevin. Hi from New Hampshire. I'll be there. Not that
Couple
much.
weeks?
Yeah, in a couple weeks. Should be in New Hampshire.
Probably, yeah. Just gonna bring the
Just
ball.
letting a few people get in before I start rambling on.
Somebody just popped up. Bring it, Georgia.
Yeah, it's Sugar Bear, Small Axe Farm. It's so funny you say that because I was just talking to Sarah.
Come here. Bring
We
it.
just had dinner with my brother and sister-in-law, and we went out to dinner with them. And on the ride home, I was saying that the Small Axe Farm was my favorite hostel
Yeah.
in terms of the overall experience. I mean, staying in the barn with the goats down below, and the husband and wife and the kids were so nice, and the food was just phenomenal there. The whole experience was unique. I said to Sarah, I want to bring you back there. Life in the Sticks, yes, getting rested.
Gaining weight.
Yeah, thanks, Steven. Been watching from the start. AT hike for next year, great. I'll definitely, when I finish this, I'll definitely be posting videos, a couple anyway, on, you know, like a post gear review, and just kind of giving advice for people that are planning on hiking. Arkansas. All right. That's great, Janine.
Bring the ball.
Yeah, it's been a restful week.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but just being able to come home every night and today I took a 0, so I've taken a total of 3 zeros this week, and it's really paid off. I put on 4 or 5 pounds. It's kind of like re-energized me. And yesterday I did a 20.6 mile day. That kind of fatigued me. Well, even though I was slack packing this week, I said to Sarah when she picked me up at the end of the day yesterday, I said, slack packing, it makes it easier, but it doesn't make it easy. You know, I'm still carrying between probably 10 and 12 pounds. You know, I still bring my food for the day, my water filter, my water, my raincoat, my puffy coat, my first aid kit. So I'm still carrying 10, 12 pounds. I mean, it's nothing compared to the 26 pounds I'm carrying when I'm out, but you know, again, it's not easy. It's just easier. Stephen, ULA circuit. Yeah. Um, I'm actually switched backpacks, Stephen. Um, it's not that I needed to 100%. I'll talk about it in the upcoming videos, but I do like the ULA. This will be my third backpack since I started. I bought a Hyperlight Unbound 55 liter and I got it delivered yesterday. So I spent some time today setting it up and bless you.
Excuse me.
One of the main reasons I switched was, the ULA advertises itself to be highly water resistant, and it really isn't. The Z Packs was more water resistant. The ULA, I found that if there's rain kind of throughout the day, it doesn't even have to be really heavy rain. The pack will soak up water because it's a Dyneema composite material that it's made out of. And I don't know all the technical specs for it, but it was time and time again, I would take out my inner bag liner and the outside of that waterproof liner would be wet. And the bottom of the inside of the backpack would have water or wet. And so that was one reason. I don't like pack covers. I do have an Osprey backpack that I used on the long trail in 2021. And I just hated having to put the pack cover on and off of it. And you end up leaving it on more than off if it's going to be threatening rain. And I just didn't want to deal with that. So because of that, and also the side pockets on the ULA are pretty tight on the circuit. My mobility is not the best at 58. I did have rotator cuff surgery on my left shoulder 10 years ago, so I have more flexibility. But the Hyperlight Unbound has bigger pockets on the side, and I can actually reach back into them and get my water filter and get to my gear and stuff that's in there. So that's the main reasons I switched.
Finished.
Thank you, Sugar Bear. It means a lot. I just got a phone call from my mother and father's lifelong friends, Arnie and Doris Sauer. And he called me tonight because he knew I was in Massachusetts. My mom had talked to him, and it meant a lot to hear from him that he was proud of me, and he's been following my videos and wants to get together with me at the end of the hike and just talk about everything. That's really nice. Stephen, yeah, the heat, what we ended up doing was one day, that first day that it was really hot and humid, I said, let's just go out and do a shorter hike. So even though I was still at Route 41 in Sheffield, I said, let's just do 11 miles. So we did from Grange Hall Road in Dalton to Cheshire. We just did 11 miles that first really hot day. And it was still tough. It was like moving through Jello.
It was horrible.
But we did that 11-mile section that day. And then the next day was even hotter. I think it was 95.
Yeah, it was
And
brutal.
I just took a 0 that day. And then, so we cleaned up all those miles in between this week. And tomorrow morning, my plan is to start in Cheshire and hike it up and over Greylock to Route 2 in North Adams. And then Monday morning, it's a short hike. It's maybe 3-4 miles, I think, from Route 2 in North Adams up to the beginning of Vermont.
Yeah, to the long trail.
Yeah, so I'll be in Vermont on Monday. But it did get super hot and humid here. And then it was so funny, like yesterday, the temperatures were, I think it was 58 degrees when we started hiking yesterday morning. And it never got out of the low 70s yesterday. It felt really nice, but what a drastic temperature change. The dogs are running around the yard playing ball.
I don't want the ball. Finished. Go lie down.
But it's been great to be home. It's like I said, I'm so lucky. I mean, the majority of people that thru hike the Appalachian Trail don't have the opportunity to do what I'm doing because I live right next to Dalton, Mass, in Pittsfield. I have that opportunity to stop here and spend time at home with my family and friends and get rested. And I mean, I have heard of people particularly people who are really stronger hikers. They'll take a week or sometimes even 2 weeks off and fly home or drive home and take a break, and that's really great. But it's so nice that this is set up so that I can just pop in here, continue to hike, do the miles in Massachusetts, and come back home and be able to see everybody and sleep in my own bed has been huge, you know. Although I was getting up at like 4:30 in the morning to do
Yeah.
most of the hikes this week, and then it was anywhere from 50 minutes to 40 minutes to 30-minute drive to the hiking trail that we were starting at. And I mean, I'm not up usually at 4:30 when I'm on trail. Usually up between 5 and 5:30, and then by the time I break camp, have breakfast, I'm on trail by 7. But it's been nice. And the blisters, Stephen, yeah, they've all healed up. I was tempted to switch shoes when I first got to Massachusetts because I would had access and time to stores. But I'm no longer having to wear, as of like 2, 3 days ago, I don't have to wear the blister pads on my heels. Everything's healed up. The shoes feel good. I didn't have the time to get out and buy, which I hope to be my final pair of shoes. I thought about just buying a final pair of shoes to have here at the house, because I'm going to need to switch shoes one more time. Just about every 300 to 500 miles, you really need to switch. Um, but I just didn't get out to do that, so I'll have to do that probably before I hit Maine.
Sorry, I just stuck my face in the camera. Someone had Lisa.
Yep, Lisa, thanks. Happy to see spending time with your family and to hike along the way. Very cool. Yeah, it's hot, but this whole adventure since we started in February, it's been like cold in the teens, 20s, wind, snow, ice, to the bugs, and now dealing with bugs and heat together, and it's like they talk about when you're on this through hike, it's any one of those things just adds stress and difficulty to the trail. I talk about this guy in one of the videos this week. It was kind of upsetting to see, but we ran into a through hiker the other day, and we finished our hike on Route 23 and near the Monterey border. And there was this hiker there. He was on the phone, and he was distraught. You could tell. We walked past him, and got to our car. We're putting our backpacks in our car, and he walked over and he asked, are you guys going into town? And I just started talking to him, and he started in March, and he was pretty broke down, and he was making the decision to get off trail and quit his hike after making it all the way to Massachusetts. And I think he said he was going to be 50 this year.
Yep.
And I didn't want to say his name or where he was from for privacy. I talk about that in the video, but he was exhausted. He lost 30 pounds, which is what I had lost. But he was pushing bigger mile days. He was pushing like 18 to 25 mile days. And had talked to his parents on the phone. And so I said, whatever you need, brother, we'll give you a ride. And so we gave him a ride into Great Barrington and brought him to a hotel. And he seemed pretty resolved that he was done. So it was kind of a wake-up call for me to just kind of be aware and stop trying to push too hard. It's, again, I talk about it in the video, but it's not as if you're trying to rush the hike. It's just you get caught up in the momentum and you want to accomplish the goal. And this was really good for me this week. And when I start on Monday going into Vermont, I'm definitely going to be working some zeros into my schedule. I'm thinking like every 9-10 days taking a zero. I've got time. I mean, Katahdin doesn't close until generally on or about October 15th-ish.
Yeah, depending on the weather.
Depends on the weather, but I've got enough time. So I'm going to start, like I said, keeping my mileage more in the 15 to 18, 15, 16, 17 range, which you kind of have to do anyway when you get to the whites. And also, like I said, every 9th or 10th day, just taking a zero and just let my body recover. Because I could tell this week that my body was recovering just, from taking the 3 zeros and being able to actually eat more. Hi, Anita. How many extra miles have you done setting up the camera in the distance? You're welcome for taking you along. Yeah, I miss Sarah and Michelle too. Yeah, if you notice, I do a lot less of that, setting up and doing the walk-bys than I did in the beginning. Um, I keep thinking about doing it during the climbs, like when I'm doing the boulders and stuff like that, like stopping because I have like I'll have a flat boulder and I'm like, oh, I set the camera up here on the tripod and then I'll work my way down 10, 20 feet and then hike up. But I'm like, I just think I'm not going to do it. It just takes a lot of effort. But I try not to do, too much of a distance for walk-bys. But I like them. I like doing the walk-bys, so I'll continue to do them. But I don't think I've added that much. On the trail at some point in the future? No, unfortunately, Georgia is very reactive. We adopted her when she was 6 months old, and she had been mistreated by her prior owners. There must have been like a teenage boy and a husband. And the Australian Shepherd breed is
Hyper to begin with.
they're hyper and they bark. They'll bark if someone's walking by the house. They'll bark when anybody comes near your house. It's their job. It's they're herders. And I suspect, and from what we've heard, it sounds like she was getting smacked when she was barking, and so she's apprehensive around men particularly, but she's reactive to other dogs
And
people.
Nero's a baby. He would not like to hike that long. And he also, when he was 10 months old, got Lyme disease. So
Yeah.
I don't think his joints are quite 100%. So I don't think he'd enjoy that type of hike. She would love it, but as long as nobody was on the trail with us.
Yeah. But as you can tell in my videos, I enjoy seeing the dogs on the trail and people that have their dogs with the right temperament for overnight section hiking and stuff. I mean, the day hiking is where I run into the majority of the dogs. Hi, Georgia. Up, up, come here, up.
She's gonna come over here.
Come
Come here.
on up.
No.
Oh, Nero's gonna come up.
Ow. Oh,
Up. Oh, good boy. Yeah, you just have to have the right temperament, and I just would hate for a negative encounter, with a person or another dog. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there are occasions out there where people have their dogs off leash, and the dogs aren't under their control verbally, and other hikers get hurt, and so she doesn't have the right social skills to be out on trail, and honestly, like, one of my big questions to all these people with their dogs when I was down in Pennsylvania and Virginia, I was like, how do you deal with the snakes? I mean, there's copperheads and rattlesnakes. Don't you worry about your dog getting bit? And no, was the answer. They don't even worry about it. On some occasions, they would say, oh, their dogs, they sense the snake or see the snake before they do, and they don't mess with it. They stay away from it. But I would just worry about my dog. I mean, I'm not, again, as I talked about, I was never used to, I don't hike around venomous snakes often in the Northeast, if at all. So that was new to me, being around copperheads and rattlesnakes in Pennsylvania and Virginia. And I would see these people going through the boulders with their dogs. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'd be so afraid they would get bit. Thanks, Michelle and Mom. Yeah, I love talking to the dogs.
Yeah, he talks to other
Buck's mom.
dogs.
Yeah, I cleaned up. I couldn't, I was thinking, I kept saying to my family, I'm like, I'm going to like shave my beard down every now and again, but I'm going to let my hair go. Because when I was a cop, working, I always had that typical cop haircut. And there was a period of time where I worked in the drug unit back in the late 90s, early 2000. And I let my hair grow, and I had my beard grow. It's just like you wouldn't recognize me. But when I got home, I really needed to feel good, and I love going to the barbershop.
Oh.
I love going to the barbershop, and so I just went to the barbershop, spent an hour there, got a straight razor shave, and had them trim my hair down, and just felt great afterwards. And Again,
His
just
hair was out of control.
yeah,
He woke up and the back of his head was like this
yeah, it
from
was pretty
this
long.
hair.
Yeah. I'm so excited that this worked horizontally for the first time.
I know.
You can actually see Sarah in this.
And the dog's in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's relentless with the ball. No, finished. Going away. Rolled away.
I don't know if Sarah's still planning on coming out to Maine to do some hiking with me, but
Yeah, we'll see. As far as it's gonna depend on what time he gets there, and I was hoping to, but we'll see. He may not want to hike with me. I'll be too slow.
yeah.
Although you may want to slow down by the end. Really take the last 100 miles slow.
Let's see, you know, like I'm definitely nervous about the whites. I've been talking to some hikers that are ahead of me that I'm friends with now, and one of them texted Sarah yesterday and said, "Oh my, have Jeff be really careful going through this area, and don't do this area when it's wet." I'm like, okay, but I think once I get through New Hampshire, which I'm so excited and looking forward to. I mean, the views are just going to be phenomenal. I really haven't done any hiking up there. I think I spent a day and a half up in the Whites, a short section when I was in my mid-20s, so 30 years ago. And other than that, I've never hiked up there. So, but I've been watching YouTubers for 5 years, and some of the best videos and views that I've enjoyed have been from New Hampshire. And once I get through New Hampshire and I get up into Maine, I'll have obviously a better idea about a finish date. Right now, I'm thinking late August.
Yeah, mid to late, probably.
Mid to late August. But we'll see. Again, I'm slowing my roll a little bit. Not that I've been doing huge miles, but more like trying to take a zero every 9-10 days, which is just going to add a little bit of time to my overall hike. But I've really seen the benefit this week to doing that. My typical pack weight right now is 25 pounds, maybe 26, with 3.5 days of food and a liter of water included. So it's pretty good. I mean, that's right where I need to be in terms of comfort. What I've learned along the way is the biggest thing you have control over is your food. So, there's been times where my food bag has weighed, geez, I don't know, 12, 13 pounds. And it just adds to your overall weight. And then there's other times where I feel more dialed in and my food bag is less weight, and then that means less weight overall. So what I did this past week too is I've looked at some YouTube videos. Darwin on the Trail. Most people know Darwin. So I was looking at a video of his from a year ago about food and the way he packs his food, and he does he takes a gallon freezer bag and he puts in day 1, 2, and 3. In his case, I do 4 days. So he labels it day 1, 2, 3, and then he puts his entire food for the day in that bag and he counts the calories. And I think an average 3-day calorie for him was 2,500 or so. So I kind of adopted that this week a little bit. Today I went and resupplied. So I'm paying more attention to the food that I get and the calories per pound, because he talks a lot about calories per pound of food. So, one of the things I've learned is whole nuts, like macadamia nuts, cashews. For a quarter cup of macadamia nuts, the amount of calories you get, it's 240, I think, to something.
Yeah.
For a quarter cup, that's huge. So incorporating that into a day-by-day bag for 4 days, and I actually counted the calories and everything from my breakfast to my snacks to my lunch and my dinner, and I'm up around 2,900 calories for the day. which I'm burning more than, but I'm pretty happy with that. And then try to supplement that with town food. Um, I need to get better about day one when I go back on trail from being in town, like packing out a meal or a sandwich or something, a grinder from town, to get in extra calories. So that's some of the stuff I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be drinking more protein powder. My favorite dinners are the dehydrated peak meals. Um, they're a little more expensive, but you can just tell that the peak brand, like they had professional chefs or somebody come up with those recipes. I mean, they're so delicious. Their spices are perfect. I don't think I've had a peak meal yet that I haven't liked. And they have a lot of protein and a lot of calories. And usually they're 2 servings per package. And I'll eat the whole package. So you get a lot more calories overall and a lot more protein. And actually, they actually take less water than the Mountain House meals. Most of them, you don't need as much water. What else?
I don't know.
You don't know. Sarah did a good job this week keeping up. Hi, Dawn and Sue. That's my sister and her wife. Thank you. It's good to hear from you. Sorry I didn't reach out this week. It's been.
It was Sue's birthday. Happy birthday, Sue.
I missed calling her on her birthday.
Yes. Yeah,
You're supposed to remind me of
I
these
know,
things.
we were in the woods. That might have been the day we did that 17-mile horrible 17-mile.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I was saying Sarah did a good job keeping up because she hasn't been hiking big miles.
No.
If she goes out maybe 2 days, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
5,
But I don't
6.
do yeah, it's like usually around 5 to 6, miles. And the elevation gain is not anywhere near the elevation gain that we can do on a hike. But trying to keep my legs from, and I've been swimming as well, so that's been helpful. But I can definitely tell I've lost some leg and cardio. Breathing is definitely worse.
Yeah, I was thinking about her. She didn't hike with me a couple days.
Just one.
Well, the 20 miles I did yesterday, you didn't hike
Well,
with me.
half part of it. I did 14 of the 20 miles.
Yeah. But some of the climbing I've done, I've been thinking about her when she's not with me, saying, "Yeah, Sarah would hate this." But she did. She did the last day out of Connecticut.
Oh,
That 17
We
point.
did 4 mountains that day.
Yeah, that was an intense day. That video is coming up.
Yeah, the downhills were worse than the uphills, though,
Yeah.
by far.
We did.
Yeah.
Was it Race Mountain? No,
We did
Bear Mountain,
Bear
Race
Mountain, and there was a mountain before Bear Mountain in Connecticut. I can't.
But there was
think of
3
it.
main ones. There was
Yeah.
Bear Mountain, Race Mountain, and then Everett.
And then down. Oh,
Yeah.
the down was just wicked.
Yeah, I talk about that in the video, but when they talk about Connecticut, you'll ask, "Oh, what's the AT like in Connecticut?" And they're like, "Oh, it's fast. It's like 55 miles or
Yeah.
something."
But the downhill out of Bear Mountain into Mass, it's like Connecticut says, "Well, we're not going to let you off that easy," and they kill you on the downhill.
Yeah, it was difficult. Thanks, Christine. Yeah, binge watch. I miss binge watching Netflix. Like once every 6 months or so, like a series will come up on Netflix that you just fall in love with, and you're like, yes, I have something I can binge watch. Yeah, missed you. I missed the walk through Dalton. Like I said, we kind of did it out of order. It was that really hot day. We were just looking to do a shorter section, but that was really cool walking through Dalton. You'll hear me talk about it in the video, but I spent the first 10 years of my life in Dalton. Grew up right off Depot Street where the trail goes down. Of course, I really didn't know anything about the AT when I was 8, 9, 10 years of age, but it's just kind of cool to look at it now and think I just grew up down the street from the AT when all these people were going through there in the 70s.
What, Georgia? Come on.
Cool.
Hi.
Yeah. I think I'm going to sign off here soon because it's 7:30 and tomorrow we are meeting. My brother-in-law Dan is actually going to join us tomorrow for this hike. He's been wanting to hike with us. Um, he's an older man.
Oh,
He's
he'll
gonna
kill
kill
you
me.
for that.
You wouldn't know it. He's 62. Is he Dan 62? He's
Yeah,
super fit.
62.
Yeah, he's
He's in great shape.
he's in really great shape, and he does not look 62. He does a lot of mountain biking and hiking and
Weightlifting and
yeah, weightlifting, but he doesn't do long distance hiking, and he's been wanting to do a longer distance hike. So tomorrow we got to come up with a trail name. Tomorrow we'll come up with a
we'll
trail name
figure a
for him.
trail name for him. Yeah.
So he's going to join us tomorrow for our 14, almost 15-mile hike up and over Greylock. So he's meeting us early in the morning, and it's past hiker midnight. So I really like going to bed early anyway. So I think I'm going to sign off and head to bed and get a good night's rest,
Yeah.
and then finalize everything in my pack for starting Monday and getting up into Vermont. I'm so excited to be going into Vermont. Like I said, I did the long trail in 2021, so I'm familiar with the first 100 miles that the AT shares with the long trail, and I'm pretty much going to follow a similar schedule. I'm doing a little bit more miles,
Yeah.
but
A little
similar
slightly
schedule.
different.
I didn't have trail legs when I started the long trail in 2021, so, but I'm also, again, trying to keep things toned down a little bit and be more reasonable. And it seems like other people are doing that this year too. I've seen some fellow YouTubers that I follow and I've met on trail, and they've been lowering their miles a little bit, slowing their roll a little bit, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing overall. Thanks for watching, everybody. I can't tell you again how much I appreciate all of you. It really, your comments, and just knowing that there's so many of you out there watching me, it really does drive me and help me stay motivated. And your words of encouragement are definitely appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah. Anything else you want to say, Sarah?
I don't think so. Somebody just made a comment though.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Olivia's. That's was Olivia's channel. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.